What's up everyone? On today's video I'm going to show you how I made my Snake and my Lenny from Toy Story 1 and 2. Snake is fully articulated. His neck can turn and his mouth opens. His tongue can swivel. He's got 10 body pieces that can each flex like this. And as for Lenny goes, he's totally static. He's not articulated. It would take some somewhat complex mechanics to get his feet to shuffle back and forth or actually be able to look through it. Something I would like to do one day, but for just now, totally happy having an accurate looking Lenny on the shelf. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I went about creating these. So let's get into the video. All right, so with Lenny, he's gonna come together really quickly. The longest part with him is just removing the supports, and even those come off pretty quickly. He doesn't have any supports on anything besides his blue body, and those ones still even come off rather quickly. So after a few minutes of support removal, he'll already be cleaned up and ready to assemble. Now that we have all his parts cleaned up and ready to go, we can go ahead and start gluing them together. I'm just using my glue gun because the glue sets in only a minute or two, so I can get all those pieces together pretty quickly. If I use a different glue, they usually take 24 hours to cure, and some of his pieces can be a little difficult to clamp down, so sometimes it takes a day or two, and often I would just like to get it done all at once. I don't want to have to sit there gluing for 2 days. His parts all glue together pretty easily since they all have a hole to glue into, so the eyes slide in and will dry pretty quickly. The legs also slide right in since they have a hole underneath it, and with the glue again, it basically sits and ready to go in a minute. And then the eye covers are pretty quickly as well, since the eye covers have holes in them also. They'll sit on there pretty easily. And the last step, and always the most fragile, is the winder. It's just so thin because of the way it's printed. It just wants to break, so I always do that last, and it has a pretty snug fit, so I don't even bother gluing it on mine. And that's Lenny. As you can see, he comes together pretty quick, so let's move on to Snake. All right, first things first, let's get Snake printed. It is always so satisfying having him print all at once on one sheet. Usually with everything else, it's multiple parts with multiple prints, so it's nice being able to get him printed all at one time. With Snake, most of the time I probably spend removing the supports. He's just got 13 body pieces and they all have supports on them. And he just has some narrow joints where the body segments connect and the joint will snap. So I'll lose that part and have to go ahead and print another one. Now that I finally have all those cleaned up, we can go ahead and start assembling. So the first thing I always do is glue the tongue in, since that will need to dry overnight. Pretty easy to assemble. It just has a pin, and then the pin slides through the tongue and glues into the bottom jaw. So I'll just go ahead and slide that in, let it dry overnight, and come back to it the next day. Now that that's dry, we can go ahead and start assembling everything. The way the body pieces connect is there's a pin that slides through 2 body segments, and that will hold them together. It has a snug enough fit where you don't really have to worry about the pins sliding out. Took a lot of trial and error because there's obviously not much room for error. If the pin's too small, it pops out, and if it's too big, it won't slide in. So there was a lot of Snake pins printed in that time when I was trying to get it sized correctly. So I can go ahead and slide in the pins for all the body pieces, and then we can stick on labels. With the labels, I just go ahead and print those off, and then I cut my sheet in half, so then that way the labels are the correct length. They go on pretty easily, they just stick on, so I just have to be careful to make sure to line it up straight, and it goes on really easily, and I just have to go ahead and do that 10 times. Once I have all the labels on, I can go ahead and connect the last couple pieces together, and then Snake is all done. All right, so that about wraps things up for Snake and Lenny. Yes, my cat is still here. She's hella stubborn, so I think we're all just gonna have to deal with it. As long as she keeps her tail out of Snake's face, I will be happy. Yeah, we'll probably be fighting with her all throughout the video. Anyways, that about does it for these two. Pretty simple when it comes to making them. Very fun characters. This is my actually real quick, this is my second version of Lenny I made. He was one of the first toys I made like 5 years ago. 6 years ago. And last year I actually went back and he had some inaccuracies. His body style, it wasn't too correct. Just really the proportions were off. So I went back and remade him totally from scratch, and I'm pretty happy with how he's turned out. And I feel like Snake's the most popular like deep cut character. He's in Toy Story 1 and 2. He's actually not even, I have to put, every time the first thing I do before I go and start any of these characters is I have to go pour over tons and tons of reference photos. So pretty much like on my computer, I have saved like screenshots of every single scene that both these characters are in. And really for Snake, and it's funny because like in Toy Story 1 and 2, like he's not the same character. In Toy Story 1, he has 10 body pieces. And in Toy Story 2, he only has 8. Since I think most people prefer the Toy Story, I think like most Toy Story collectors, I think favorite movies Toy Story 1. So if I'm like stuck in between deciding do I want to do like a Toy Story 1 more accurate or Toy Story 2 accurate, I typically will go do the Toy Story 1 version. I think that's like what most people have in their head canon is what things looked like in Toy Story 1. And I love getting to recreate the scene with Rocky and Snake. They're sitting there like lifting weights. So it's cool to have them both with their Tinker Toy weights. All right, well that about does it for today's video. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys checking out my videos. I'm gonna be making a whole bunch of new videos. Let me know what other characters you guys may want to see. I'm gonna be going back through all my characters I made in the past, but I am dying to start making some new stuff I haven't made before. Got a few ideas, but let me know what you guys are looking for, and I'm more than happy to go ahead and try to make those. I've also got an Etsy shop with lots of cool toys in there. Please go check it out. I appreciate all the support you guys give me and have given me over the years. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video.